Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about, we got lots of news stories that came out this morning. We're going to be talking about LEGO Horizon Adventures to be announced at Summer Game Fest. We'll talk about that. We're going to be talking about Jason Schreier came out with a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, talking about Rocksteady behind the scenes of the biggest video game flop of 2024 so far, right? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about MultiVersus prioritizes losers by making them fight bots. So these are the three top stories that we're going to talk about this morning, but there's other also stories. We're also going to, if we get to Hogwarts Legacy Director's Cut is in development, says new report. This is also from the Jason Schreier. At least this is what the article says here as well. So this is what we're going to talk about this morning. If you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover the news stories. We just have conversations with the news stories. It's like your daily news segment or stories, right? You can read the news yourself. All those links are in the description down below. But I read them for the first time on stream. I basically just pick them out from our submitted stories, from either you guys submitting them or myself finding them. We put them in our Discord. And then each morning, Monday through Thursday, we just go down the list and pick stories that we like to talk about. And we have conversations. You like video games. I like video games. We like talking about news stories and whatnot. So that's what we do here. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Heck? What's going on, Z? Good morning. Good morning, Eclipse. Good morning, Kylo. Good morning, Travis. Good morning, Jones. How's everyone doing this morning? All right, so let's get the big one out of the way, right? Usually I can't read Bloomberg's articles, right? Because I'm not subscribed to them or anything. But this one they let free, so we're gonna read this one from Jason Schreier, probably one of the only people that does investigating reporting in video games in general, right? Everyone else is like a blogger or whatnot. So we have a story from Jason Schreier. We also have more context from oh, do I have it up here? I gotta find it again. Give me 1 second. I had a story up here, but I probably closed it. Miller Ross, who was on our podcast a couple months ago, also talks about. Let me bring this up for a second. He adds some more context to the Rocksteady situation on top of Jason Schreier's article. So let me find this one real fast. Okay. So let's bring that up over here. We'll bring that up. All right. So let's get this started here. We first saw this article or this tweet right here, and it says, Jason Schreier says, new, what went wrong with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? This is the story based on interviews with 24 people who worked on the game and how Rocksteady Studios went from revered Arkham series to $200 million flop. Okay, so click that link, and then it brought me to this, which is behind Suicide Squad, the year's biggest video game flop. After its 7 years tumultuous development, Warner Brothers took a $200 million loss on Rocksteady's game. Now, that's a little not telling the whole truth there. That was part of the $200 million that they lost, but it wasn't solely on this one game $200 million flop. But let's continue reading. David Hayden, a head of video games for Warner Brothers Discovery Inc., visited the London's office, subsidiary Rocksteady Studios, in mid-February for all hands-on meeting. And while previous gatherings with the executives had been peppered with tactful enthusiasm, this time Hayden was blunt. According to two people briefed on his remarks, he says weeks after its release, the studio's latest game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, was tanking. Hayden shared a few details on the exact scope of Suicide Squad misfire, said the people, who asked not to be identified, discussing a non-public information, but it didn't take long for them to find out the extent of the damage. On May 9th, during the earnings call, Warner Brothers revealed it was taking a $200 million loss on Suicide Squads, making it one of the gaming's world's worst blunders. Behind the scenes, according to an interview with nearly 24 people who requested anonymity, because they weren't authorized to speak to the press or development of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, was a tumultuous affair, plagued by countless delays. Game failed for a number of reasons, said the people, including consistent shifting vision. a culture rigged of perfectionism, and also a genre pivot that also suited for the studio. A spokesperson for Warner Brothers Games declined to comment. Okay. The only thing I don't like about stuff like this is that people that are inside the company, they want to speak, but they don't want to speak, right? They're like candid with it. They can say certain things, but it's like, and again, I'm not saying this is what they're doing specifically, but have you ever met someone that's like just doesn't like working at the company anymore, at a company, whatever company you're working for, right? They tend to, let's see, exaggerate certain things because they just don't like it. Like if you don't like something, you go all in on not liking it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I always take this, we just read it as is, and then you make your own assumptions and whatnot. It says the costly miss could extend beyond Warner Brothers and further deter investments in gaming by traditional media firms when they shouldn't be expanding, said Just Van Doringy, who teaches the video game business in New York University. The high-profile failure came in a particularly bad time for Warner Brothers. Chief Executive Officer David Zaslav, the parent company of the CNN, HBO, TNT, and other cable networks, was already grappling with challenges of multiple fronts from plugging TV ad sales and struggling movie theaters and escalating sports rights fees and growing threats from AI. Over the past 2 years, the company's shared price had plummeted from 26 in April 2022 and a little over $8 a day of the call. So that's a hell of a drop in stocks. The games division was supposed to be a rare bright spot for Zaslav and his investors, particularly following the success of Hogwarts Legacy adaptation of Harry Potter series. Here's the thing I also don't like that they did, right? Hogwarts Legacy had a lot going for it. One, it's a beautiful game. One, it's a game. Make a game, sell a game, and it's a dream world for Harry Potter fans, right? Even though it's not a Harry Potter game, it's a spin-off of it. But it's a beautiful game, which they just had an update. You can go back and play the update for PC and PlayStation or Xbox for the mission they didn't have last year. But to compare one, right? That's like comparing every movie that comes out to Endgame, right? Marvel's last film, Endgame, made like $2 billion or close to it, okay? Or it did make $2 billion, right? To say that every movie after that is a failure because you're comparing it to Endgame is just stupid. Okay, Hogwarts Legacy is this not the norm of what it is. It's a buildup of Harry Potter fans for decades wanting a really good Harry Potter game. And obviously Hogwarts is not a Harry Potter game, but it's a part of the Harry Potter series or the lore of it. Okay, so it had everything going for it. And Hogwarts, or Harry Potter fans, Potterheads, okay, even when the Universal Studios Park opened up back in 2010, right, it was a madhouse because there were so many fans that love that thing. Suicide Squad doesn't have that same appeal to what Harry Potter is. So to compare Suicide Squads with Hogwarts is just idiotic by suits in general, okay, in my opinion, okay? It says the adaptation of Harry Potter series, which was the best-selling title in 2023, has sold more than 24 million copies instead of Rocksteady delivered a historic dud for Warner Brothers. It was a painful reminder that the big ambitious video games like blockbuster-style movies have a potential to mask both huge windfalls and gaping losses. That's the business of entertainment, right? I've said this multiple times, at least in the film industry. I can't speak from the gaming industry. I never worked in the gaming industry. But in the film industry, if a studio comes out with 10 films, 7 films will bomb. They will not make money back. You will lose money in those things. But the studio has 3 more films that do make money, okay? 2 will break even or just above to make money, and then 1 will be that blockbuster that makes the money back for every, and then the entire company for that year is profitable because of that one movie, okay? But they have multiple things, and then there was DVD sales and stuff on top of that where they make extra money, okay? Obviously, I say this all the time. Not every game is going to be a blockbuster, right? Or every movie is going to be a blockbuster. Not every game is going to be a game of the year. Not every book is going to be bestseller, okay? So it says on the call, Zaslav described it as disappointing release and overshadowed the rest of the quarter, okay? For years, Warner Brothers has been struggling to transform its DC Comics assets into wellspring of recurring hits, much as Walt Disney Company has done with Marvel Comics in August of 2016. Warner Brothers released Suicide Squad, a gory sci-fi action movie based on the comic book series, which also originated in 1959. The film starring Will Smith Margot Robbie featured a platoon of villains strong-armed by U.S. government into dangerous missions to save the world, and it went on to generate ticket sales of $750 million on budget of $175 million, major boon for the studio. Yeah, but to think that you're going to have that again, okay? You got to remember, during the time of Suicide Squad coming out, Marvel was the biggest blockbusters in the movie industry, right? And people were like, "Oh, comic book films, this must be good," and that's what they banked off of. Okay, to say that the movie was going to do that, what, 10 years later? Like it's just ridiculous. So afterwards, the company hustled to build the momentum on its gaming studio in Montreal. Warner Brothers already had Suicide Squad video game that was struggling to gel. With the stakes heightened, Hayden pulled the plug and turned instead of the most prestigious of the company's dozen video game studios. Founded in London in 2004, Rocksteady had grown into an industry darling thanks to Batman Arkham, a series of games that was also revered as critics as it sold millions of copies following Rocksteady's third and final installment, which came out in 2015. Now, the studio's co-founder, Jamie Walker, and Stefan Hill, eager to do something different, started working on a prototype of the original multiplayer puzzle-solving game codenamed Stones. Okay. Around the end of 2016, Walker and Hill told the staff that they've been changed their plans. Stone was out, Suicide Squad was in, and according to people who attended the meetings, Hill explained that he saw it as a better opportunity than making something new from scratch, and the company hoped to release the game in 2019 to 2020, which would be the same time as around when Marvel's Avengers was supposed to be release. Walker and Hill declined a request to be interviewed for the story because they know too much. Okay, at the time, the broader industry was growing increasingly fixated on games as a service, such as Destiny, League of Legends, which generated sales long after the initial release, continually re-engaging players to endless updates and ranking in fresh profits year after year. And we've talked about this on this channel. This is the problem with video games, right? If you sit down and you come up with a plan for something, okay, you actually come up with a plan for a video game and not the monetization first, right? Well, Destiny's making money off the Eververse. Oh, and League of Legends is making money off of this. Well, maybe we can make lots of money off skins, and then we'll make a game around that. That's the wrong MO to have, right? Make the game that you want to make a good story, make a good game, and then add the stuff that you want to monetize in that game instead of the opposite way around. Okay, so it says in the field in which Rocksteady had no prior experience, the Batman Arkham games were all single player, even if Rocksteady executives soon decided that is keeping with the parent company's newfound enthusiasm, Suicide Squad would become an online multiplayer game with live service content. As it set out to master a new set of skills Rocksteady expanded over the next 7 years, it would swell to a roughly 160 to more than to 250 people, a size that grew unwieldly for managers and yet still remained far smaller than the enormous teams behind similar games like Destiny. What I see a lot of with all of these stories that we hear after the fact is that management is the problem, right? Management seems like they're in over their heads. Maybe they're people that just don't know what's going on. Maybe they have no management experience. Maybe they just don't know how to manage people. Whatever it is, it seems like a lot of these games fail because of upper management. During the early days, the studio kept its work Suicide Squad secret, even from potential hires. Several people who came on board during the era, they were also surprised when they first arrived at the offices to learn that they should be working on a multiplayer game, not at all that Rocksteady has known for. Okay, many would depart as a result. Okay, so imagine you're a new person in the industry. You're like, man, I love Rocksteady. I love Batman. I want to come in work. And then you show up and you're like, yeah, we're doing a multiplayer game. You're like, peace out. You're not who I thought you were. Okay. So over time, the leader's vision kept morphing, most notably switching from an emphasis of melee combat to heavily focus on guns. Well, I can tell you why. How do you monetize melee combat? Okay. You gotta monetize guns because guns sell. Look at Division. Look at Destiny. Look at the guns they have. Look at the things that you could sell and the skins that you can do, right? You really can't sell fists, okay? The change left from some staff members wondering why protagonists such as Captain Boomerang, known for fighting with his namesake weapon, would suddenly pivot to gunplay. In August of 2020, after 3 years of multiple delays, Rocksteady finally revealed its plans, telling fans Suicide Squad would be releasing in 2022. But additional frustrations kept piling up, and the project's massive world of 4 playable heroes were significantly increasing in complex of Arkham games. Engineers, under the impression that they were rushing towards the immutable deadline, prioritizing short-term fixes that later proved hinderous as a release date kept getting pushed back. Staff members sometimes waited weeks or months for Hill and the studio's perfectionist co-founder and director of the game to review their work, said the people familiar creating the bottleneck that further slowed the development. He scrapped big chunks of the script and struggled to convey the evolving ideas. They said, confessing that they had spent much time with competing games such as Destiny. The consistent delays hurt morale, led staff to be fret that they also discarded too much and failing and make real progress. At one point, Hill pitched an elaborate system of vehicles that would also allow players to deck out cars with weapons and navigate through the game's alien-infested streets. Do you see the problem here? Right? Like, listen to the problem right here. At the point Hill pitched, right? This is one of the founders that left, by the way. An elaborate system of vehicles that would allow players to deck out cars with weapons and navigate through the game's alien-infested. That sounds like 100% a monetization thing. They're like, what about if we put cars in and then we can charge for stuff like that, right? Like, I'm taking a big leap here, but that's what it sounds like, okay? But each of the 4 playable characters were already outfitted with mods of traveling, leading for more doubts amongst staffers. Okay, while they wonder what would players use the Deadshot or King Shark bothered the motorcycle, then they used to just soar through the air. After months of experimentation and prototyping, the vehicle system was scrapped, which actually they kind of still had in the game because there's missions with vehicles in the game. Okay, one of the biggest issues, said people familiar, was the battles levels and the bosses in the live service game needed to be designed so players would tackle them over and over again. While Rocksteady was accustomed to telling stories that they were also only experienced once, hampered by a bloated code, the team struggled to find ways to make activities feel less tedious and repetitive. Well, you did a terrible job. You did a terrible job because you're not even fighting the bosses over and over. Like, I can't fight Flash and Superman and Batman and Green Lantern over and over to get gear. I have to go fight Brainiac, who pretends to be the Flash, Superman, and Green Lantern so far. Okay. Multiple people who worked on the project said their growing concerns were often met with promises from management that Suicide Squad would eventually coalesce as the last minute, just as Arkham games had. We hear this a lot. A lot of people that talk about video games, BioWare call it the BioWare magic, where the game would be like in shambles, right? I don't know if you ever worked on like a house or did construction, right? It looks like a chaos site, right? Even films work this way, where everything looks jumbled, and then all of a sudden, like in the 10th inning, okay, or the 9th inning, whatever you want to say, it all of a sudden just comes together, and you're like, holy shit, we did it. Like, we made a movie, right? We made a TV show, right? It looks crazy, and then all of a sudden it's here, okay? It says several employees adopted the term toxic positivity to describe the culture of the company, which discouraged criticism. Leadership didn't seem worried, and they said that even that the traditionally single-player games studios that chased the live service trend were delivering an abysmal results with games such as Anthem, which earned a lower score than 59 out of 100 on the Metacritic, Marvel's Avengers 67 out of 100, and Redfall 56 out of 100. Despite the internal concerns amongst frontline workers, executives from Warner Bros. Kept reviewing demonstrates of the game and sending feedback, praising the graphics and saying they expected Suicide Squad becomes a billion-dollar franchise. That's because the people that are playing the game looked at graphics and said, well, this looks great. Graphics are good. Game is good, which is just stupid, okay? I've said this multiple times over the years. To make a game a live service and to not look at the other past live services in the past and make the exact same mistakes, okay? Now, I didn't even bring up Destiny or Division. I compared this game to Anthem and Marvel's Avengers right from the start when they first showed it. I said they should not make the same mistakes because those games are already laid out. You already saw the up and the downfall of Anthem and the up and downfall of Marvel's Avengers, and yet Suicide Squad was like, we're going to do exactly the same thing, which is just amazing, okay? So whatever the outcome of the studio, co-founders couldn't be there to see it through. In the fall of 2022, Warner Bros. Announced that the Hill and Walker will be leaving Rocksteady to work on a new adventure. At that part, the longtime employees Nathan Burlow and Darius Sagi, I'm going to butcher his name, I'm not even going to try, were beginning to promote in their wake. The change in the leadership shocked Rocksteady's staff, and Hill and Walker said little in the public to elaborate the reasons for leaving. They just bailed. They're like, nah, we're in over our head. They probably just bailed. Okay. Later, they started a new studio called 100 Star Games and told potential recruiters from Rocksteady that they would have the opportunity to make games free of mandates and pressures from a corporate like Warner Brothers. Okay. Not long after the pair left, Suicide Squad was shown into the world in the first time for digital PlayStation Showcase and revealed 10 minutes of footage, and fans were largely unimpressed and slammed to previews for long, generic, repetitive. One Forbes writer described it as live service hell. Shortly after the showcase, Warner Bros. Delayed the release again, and leading fans to wonder if Rocksteady might pivot away from the uninspired looter-shooter genre to something else entirely. But it was too late. In February 2024, Rocksteady released Suicide Squad. Employees were also hopeful that players might enjoy individual pieces, such as its beautiful graphics or clever banter, but critics panned the overall experience, ranking it alongside other live service flops with a 60 out of 100 on Metacritic, and the game failed to reach a wide audience despite the price marketing campaign and including network and TV commercials. Despite the painful setback, Warner Bros. Isn't giving up on the video game. A $262 billion global industrial, according to PwC, that will grow to $312 billion in 2027. During the February meeting in London, Hayden said that Warner Bros. Games was looking to do more collaborations between dozens of studios, and the company was understaffed compared to competing publishers. So job cuts and Rocksteady wouldn't make sense. Many of the studio's employees were also now helping develop a new director's cut version of Hogwarts Legacy at the same time, according to people familiar with the studio leaders, and are looking to pitch a new single-player game which would return Rocksteady to its roots. He says, I think this definitely get another at-bat, said T.W. Cohen, analyst Doug Crudis. Hopefully it's something more aligned with the demonstrated talents. So there you go. So at the tail end there, Warner Bros. is pushing more towards Hogwarts Legacy director's cut. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the director's cut for this. But you can see that they made the exact same mistakes as the other games before it. Okay? And the problem with this is I don't understand how they do it. You saw what Anthem went through. You saw what Marvel's Avengers went through. And right now, Suicide Squad is doing the exact same thing. Just last week, they announced that they're no longer doing weekly updates, and they're not going to say anything until they have something to say. But at this point, I think it's just way too little. Is it too little, too late? Is that the term? Right? Like you're saying things or not doing things now. And every time this game gets updated for Season 1 and Season 1.2 or Episode 2, it's just lackluster. They didn't have a vision of what the game was. They built a game around monetization instead of a game first. And here's my tidbits to you in the future. If you're a game developer or an aspiring game developer, use this as knowledge. Don't go down the same roads as Anthem, as Marvel's Avengers, as Suicide Squad. It's possible to make a good live service game, okay? The problem is not live service. The problem is bad games in the live service space that they use to monetize instead of making a game. We always say on this podcast, we always say on the show, make a game, sell a game. And that make a game section is put your blood, sweat, and tears, whatever it is, right? If you're a person that's writing a book or making a movie or writing a script, making a video game, building a house, cooking dinner, whatever it is, make that thing, sell that thing. Okay, like whatever it is, put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Feel good about what you're making. If you're not feeling good about what you're making, then you have no passion in it. Okay, now obviously with studios like this, you have no choice sometimes. You're just a worker ant, and the queen or king is telling you what to do, and you're like, I really don't like this. We've saw it with Redfall. Redfall didn't want to make Redfall. Okay, they're like, oh, thank God Microsoft's buying us. Maybe they'll cancel it. They're like, nope, continue working. They're like, when you have passion, your shit becomes shit, okay? So can this get turned around? Absolutely not. I don't think it can get turned around at all, okay? Miller Ross adds to this with a paragraph here, okay? He says, great read, excellent reporting. Just wanted to add this to toss in a few extra nuggets I heard. Sorry for this tweet to follow, though. It's too early in the edit to edit something more readable, okay? He says, at its core, it's another example of why Destiny-like have a consistent fail. Nobody wants to spend on the money. Just like within Avengers, they wanted to make Destiny with 1/3 of the developers, and what this simply can't be done. One source told me, okay, about the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League photo mode. Apparently it was left unfinished to cut because they just didn't have more graphic programmers left at the studio to work on it. Corners get cut and suggestions get made. For example, guns over Arkham-style melee over and over until that you don't have the resemblance of what you set out to make. You can't monetize fists. Okay, you can monetize guns, but the show must go on. So you polish up a specific element of the game, chop up the slice it off, and show the executives who don't play games to understand that makes one of success. And they see something is a resemblance of Destiny enough to justify their cost cutting. Correct. It looks pretty. It looks like Destiny. It's going to be $1 billion. Okay. It says we pulled it off, cha-ching, and then they don't cheap out on the actual advertising because they convinced that they got a hit. And all of that goes into money straight down the toilet, and the advertising itself was a misadventure, but the story for another day. So yes, the story of Stefan Hill's baby, the broad strokes including post-launch, were nailed down in between Infinity War and Endgame at the time and when it dominated pop culture. It takes clear inspiration from those films. The heroes lose, the credits roll, and only them they come back and get the revenge, and that's really it. It's not a boogeyman, so many people don't blow it up to be it. I've heard that Hill is harder than leaving the audience shocked at the end of the game and the heroes seamlessly having all died. The multiple Rocksteady developers have spoken and characterized themselves as begging him to leave more clues regarding the Justice League's inevitable return to help stimulate some of the predictable backlash. Okay. Or Stipe. As far as I understand, Ross says, as I've stated before, Season 5, Episode 10, the finale, was structured to function as either a season or series finale depending on the game's success. From digging into Episode 2's patch, it seems like Season 5 might have been folded into Season 4 and otherwise axed. The episodes are quite short, so this isn't an effort to be frank. I can't say it definitely, but this is how it looks. And it's kind of funny because I think people had a hard time understanding that Season 5 finale structure with them having specifically announced Seasons 1 through 4 as year 1 in the roadmap. So a lot of people already assume that Season 4 will be the end of the storyline. He says, to be clear, I'm not saying that the game will end with Season 4, as I was originally intended to end, setting up Season 5, but rather that the Seasons 2 through 5 are being compressed a bit so that the game can wrap up at the end of Season 4. At least, that's how it's looking from what I can see. With that in mind, I have to imagine that anyone at Rocksteady who's contributed to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League through Season 5 has concluded will have already been moved on to the next project, and this is a number that will grow as they chip away what's left. The dream is dead, and it probably why in weekly shop update promises it quickly killed, as well as the developer updates. There's also just nothing left there. They're wrapping up as already a progress is at the next, and the roadmap will happen to be promised. So at the end of the day, God, I hope they haven't canceled a QVK, whatever. I don't know what the QVK is. So there you go. So lots of information coming out, and it always comes out. It always comes out. We always want to know, and there's always at least one person, at least Jason Schreier is always there to catch us and be like, hey, let me get some information for you about what happened to Suicide Squad and what happened to Rocksteady. I hope Rocksteady doesn't get closed down. I still think they finish out the game because they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on it, and I do believe they put it out. It's not going to make it better in any way, shape, or form, but they are going to release 4 seasons, so it will finish out what they went out to do. It's a shame, though, that developers that were working on the game couldn't make the game that they wanted to make, or work on a game that they liked, not even make what they wanted to make, but work on a game that they liked and had passion in, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think about Rocksteady? Do you think Rocksteady's done? Do you think that they are not going to make the next game? Or do you think that Warner Brothers is like, you know what? We fucked up here. We're going to let you guys continue on and make the game that you want to make. Our bad. We want to make you a live service game. You guys make a single-player game. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Eclipse says, of course they do. There's no one wants to keep losing, and what they want, everyone wants everyone once in a while. Of course they flop. People are hating on it solely before it came out. Well, it flopped because of what the game is in general, Travis, right? People didn't want a live service game. Even I said it. I'm playing it for the single-player aspect of it. And the single-player aspect is the story-driven campaign, I think, is fine. I don't think it's terrible. I think people that hate on what was happening during that time frame, they hate it because of that reason. But the story is actually pretty good. Eclipse says, I regret buying this game. It has so much potential, and now I'm realizing that I don't care and just going to do bare minimum until it's done. Travis says, I don't regret buying it. Based on the game was good. Yeah, I think the base game was good as well. Yeah, the base game wasn't worth the $100 bucks, but for $100 bucks, because I thought it was going to be a good lot service game, a good live service game. Mr. 7 Digit says, oh, how Rocksteady have fallen. Let's see. Henry Heck says, things like that only work in Asia market with gacha games. Let's see. You guys are talking back and forth. Eastside Vandal says, oh, look, developers were saying that the exact same thing I was saying. Eastside Vandal says, Mike, you were loving this game when it dropped and had an epic debate about it. Yeah, and I still like the game for the single-player game. I don't like it as a live service game, Vandal. I said it even before the game even came out, right? You can go back and look at my videos, even the discussion that we had, right, about the lore and stuff. But the game itself, for a single-player game, I have no regrets for it. I enjoyed the game and said exactly what I said, and I stick by it. I played the game for the single-player campaign because I believed in Rocksteady telling good stories, and I think the story that they told was pretty good. Not great, but pretty good, right? I'm a little disappointed that after the season here, they don't have continued more story, just kind of lackluster and whatnot. But the story itself for the main game is fine. That's exactly what I played for. If anyone got Game Pass, it's here. I highly recommend you check out Octopath Travelers 2. Game's fantastic. Eclipse said, I've always said, like the main story, I wish they spent $30 on the game instead of $100. I think the old Rocksteady is gutted, a husk of what it was. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, but those are the same people who said, I don't want Suicide Squad, believe in live service, said, I wish Gotham Knights was a live service. That's true as well, because when people started playing Gotham Knights, they realized that there's a good game or a good story there, and they wanted more of it, right? Same thing with Outriders. Outriders came out, wasn't a live service game. When people played it, they're like, this is a good game. I want more of Outriders. The story and the character's representation was horrible. The story that was told during the actual thing, the story of they need Suicide Squad because Brainiac came in and took over the Justice League, and they need the only people they can rely on are the people that they couldn't rely on, right? The actual degenerates of the world are the only people that can save planet Earth, right? It's a good story. They told a story. You can hate that they killed off the people, but anybody with 2 brain cells knows that they weren't dead based on what the story was being told. Hence why even in the article, they said that they wish they kind of gave more breadcrumbs to let people know they weren't dead. Sure, Titan, it's not complete because it's a live service game, right? So the story, like 60% of the story is there, and then the other 40% you have to wait a year for, which is shit. Right? But if you played the story, you know that the Justice League is not dead. That's abundantly clear as you play through the story. So everyone getting their panties in a bunch because Batman got shot in the face and Superman's dead and they didn't, right? They're criminals. They don't give a shit about the people. They're just doing they're selfless, right? Or selfish, okay? They just want to survive. They have bombs planted in their head and they have to do what they're told. Sort of like a metaphor of like what the developers had to do with the game. Okay? The developers basically had a bomb implanted in their head and they had to make a live service game. Stop it, 30. You're making sense. We all know that the Batman fans can't do that. Like, anybody that played the game and watched the actual story, you're like, oh yeah, Justice League's alive. They're not dead. There's no way. So everyone getting upset that they killed the Justice League. Yeah, it's called a story. They're telling a story. It just so happens that the story's not going to be finished for another fucking 12 to 18 months. Which is bullshit, right? The way you tell a story is you complete the story that you're telling and then continue on the story. You can't leave cliffhangers like they left. Right? You know what they do? A portal could have opened up and all of a sudden they heard a voice and they're like, wait a minute. Was that Flash? Is Barry still alive? Right? They could have done that. I'm more upset about the insanely ugly Mr. Freeze at this point. Well, that's a whole nother conversation, right? That's a whole nother conversation on what they wanted to do with the game. If I think Jason Schreier came out with a tweet saying, out of all the people he talked about, nothing was talked about by Sweet Baby Inc. But at that point, I don't think it's up to the developers if it's Sweet Baby Inc.'s involved or not. That's upper management, right? Upper management, you don't know who's working over here or working over there. They could have done stuff after the fact. Like if I work on something in the film, okay, I do my part in the movie. I film the movie. Once I'm done filming the movie, what they do afterwards, and then you interview me going, well, did you know there was SBI into the film? I'd be like, no, I didn't, because I just shot the film. What they did in the after and the edit, I have nothing, right? No, nothing. I got my check and I walked away. So for here, let me get the Jason Schreier, what he backed up on it. He said that people are running with he had another tweet reply. Yeah, here. Let me get the replies. Where is the... He replies with key success support. He talks about something about the SBI and says people are griefing off of you or whatnot. And I think, look, I'm not going to deny that people are griefers because they make money off of it off the internet. Sure. But at the same time, you can't say it's not there, right? 100% there. You can see it. I can't find his tweet now. His reply. SBI is the new boogeyman? I mean, it really isn't though, Travis. It's not a boogeyman. It's literally there. You can see it. Exhibit A. When we see Mrs. Freeze come out, you're going to look at it and go, yeah. In what way, shape, or form would they have to do what they did there? To say that it's not there, you're in denial. Right? And it's also to say that the people that are griefers off the internet talking about the stuff are doing exactly that because they are making money off of that. But that's why SBI is there, right? To get grants and certain things, they have to team up with certain people because video games are getting more expensive. Investors don't want to invest all the money into that, so they have to go outside to get more money. What's going on, Ron? I got my terms mixed up. It's not a boogeyman. It's a scapegoat. It's more of a scapegoat. Yeah. It's more of a scapegoat. Look, I'm down the middle. I'll bring up stuff, right? Even when it came out and people said it's because of SBI. And I'm like, I don't even know what SBI was when we first started talking about it like 6-7 months ago, right? And I was like, whatever. I don't know what that is. Then obviously it blew up and everyone's around it. So it is that scapegoat where everyone's like, oh yeah, this is the reason. And I get that. But at the same time, you can't blame it on all that. The development side up to that point, okay, like the game is not bad because of the character way they look. It's bad because of the game mechanics. It's bad because of the story. It's bad because of whatever, right? It's bad because it's more microtransactions than actual game. That's why the games are bad, right? I'm not speaking of just Suicide Squad. I'm just speaking in general. Right? Then you have the bad takers from the other side that just say all games are bad because of these things, right? So I think it all comes back down to just as simple as it. Make a game, sell a game, right? If you make a game that has full of SBI, okay, or whatever, right? Diversity, DEI, SBI, whatever it is. If you make a game and the game's good, I don't think anyone has a problem. I think when you use that stuff and then start preaching to people in the advertisements for that, that is gaslighting. That is what they're using it for, right? And then they use it as a scapegoat as well. when it doesn't do well, they're like, well, it's because you're sexist, racist, and misogynistic. And the other people say, well, I don't like it because of this. It is a scapegoat. From the model I saw, the fat Asian woman, and went tick. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Travis says, I have 2 games I'm excited for that I know for sure don't have SBI involved. Because people don't like how it looks, they go, oh, SBI is involved, but 5 minutes of research proves it not. Which games are those, Travis? Which 2 games are those? See, I'm down the middle, right? I'll play a game because I like a game. I won't play a game because it doesn't look interesting to me. There's plenty of blockbuster games out there that are phenomenal that I don't play. Doesn't mean I don't like the game. It just didn't interest me. People like Hellblade 1 and Hellblade 2. I have no interest in that game, so I don't touch it, right? There's other games that are not 90s and 95s, and I like because I'm interested in that game. Well, Outlaws is definitely there, Travis. Outlaws is definitely there. You and I both know they could have just made Outlaws into Han Solo, and it would have been fine. But they had to check some boxes. I don't know about the other game. But Outlaws 100% is checking. But that's what Star Wars is now. You can see it in their shows. You can see it in their books. You can see it in their comics. You see it from interviews from the actual people that running Star Wars, what they say. 1,000% it's a checkbox. It's not about SBI. Take SBI. SBI is one company, okay? DEI is completely different agenda. SBI is a company. Yeah, but it's not about just automatic female doesn't make it SBI, DEI, right? Yeah, but they say SBI because people are parrots. People think SBI is the entire like umbrella of the thing, right? There's many companies. There's like 15 to 20 different companies that all do the exact same thing as what SBI is doing, which is under the umbrella of DEI, which has been proven that companies are looking to get money. They can't get money. And to get certain grants and certain things, they have to have a certain amount of things so they can get the grants so they can make their video games. The way it is. Right? Here, I'll put it this way. In the film industry, right? In the movie industry, if you want to make a movie, you got to go to a studio. And that studio has to go find producers. The producer, let's say I'm a producer, right? Let's say I like bunny rabbits, okay? Someone comes to me and says, I want to make this movie, and I'll be like, I'll give you the money, but it's got to have bunny rabbits in it. And they're like, well, it's a murder movie. And you'd be like, well, if you want my $200 million, you're going to have to figure out how to put a bunny rabbit in the film. And they're like, all right, let's get rewriting. We got to put a bunny rabbit in the film, right? So now it's a murderous bunny rabbit instead of Jason, right? And I'm like, yeah, great, right? Because it's my money and these people want my money, I get to tell them what they want to do, right? So if you want my money, you got to put a bunny rabbit in there, right? That's how it works. Well, it says, and then when games don't sell well, they want to got to go back to the DEI master for more money. Right. And then people, when they're like, well, I have a good vision of a game. I made my game, but it didn't sell well. Well, if it didn't sell well, then obviously it's because people are sexist, racist, and misogynistic. My movie didn't see well because people are sexist, racist, and misogynistic, right? Not because of people are not interested in the film, right? Did you see this article? Here's a perfect example, right? I didn't even know the movie came out. I'll be honest with you, right? Let me go to the movie news real fast, and we'll add this to it, right? Here's the article for. Well, that's Comic Book Talk. Movie news. Okay. Mad Max franchise likely put on hold after Furiosa flops sees far fewer female viewers than it hoped. So, here you go. Okay. They take a brand of Mad Max. Okay. Have no Mad Max in the film. It's a pre-story of Mad Max and Furiosa. They made the film for female, right? For females. But females didn't see it. Right? So now the movie flops, right? They made it a movie. They took a risk. They made a movie for a female population that nobody gave a shit about. And now there might not be any more Mad Max films, which for me is fine, because in my world, there's only 3, right? Technically 2, right? Which is the first 2 from the original with Mel Gibson. Okay. So did this fail because men didn't go see it? No, it failed because the women they wanted to go see it didn't go see it. It doesn't matter if it wasn't bad or not, Mo. It didn't get people to go to the theater to watch it. The clips, the video is supposed to make people go, wow, that looks good, I'm going to go see it. But they didn't, right? So now do they blame the men that didn't want to go watch this? Or do they blame the women that they were made the film for didn't go watch it? Are the women sexist against themselves? I need to know this. I didn't see the remake, Jones. I don't watch a lot of remakes of movies. If I want to go see Mad Max, I'll just put Mad Max in the DVD player. Folks were mad at Zhao Hao because he had a black protagonist. That's an outlier of what's happening in the industry, Vandal. That guy made a video game based on his dead father, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, right? He literally made it about his dead father. It was he wanted to make a game, mind you. He wanted to make a game to honor his father. Okay? Regardless if the game is good, bad, or whatever, he made the game that he wanted to make and he put it out there. Okay? And it didn't sell well, or it's not selling well. Okay? It's not about racist people that don't want to play his game. Now, are there people on the internet that say stupid shit on the internet towards him? 1,000%. Okay? But the majority of the people didn't play the game. Why? Because they're not interested in it. They're not interested in it. There's hundreds and thousands of other games to play, and he made a game. If he's happy with the game he made and made it to honor his father, then I think mission accomplished, right? If you feel good about the game that you created for your father, then you shouldn't care what all these other people say and think. Congratulations. You made a game to honor your dead father, which is fucking amazing, right? I didn't make a game for my father, right? So to then say that my game's not selling because of racist people, I mean, I'm not interested in the game. Not because there's a black protagonist, because I don't like those platformer type games anymore. Right? That's the difference. Coming out and then saying that people are racist against it because of it, that takes it to a whole nother level. Right? If you're happy with the game that you created, make a game, sell the game. Right? But don't be mad when your game doesn't sell, because it's a tough business out there. There could be 1,000 different reasons why that game didn't sell well. Maybe the price point's too high, right? Hence why he lowered the price point on, what, Switch? Okay. Maybe there's another game coming out that someone didn't want to buy because they're like, I'm going to save my money and buy the next game that's coming out next month. Right? Imagine that. The first thing that we go to, though, is it's always sexist, racist, or misogynistic, right? That's what it is. Always. Something doesn't sell well, blame that. That's the scapegoat. That's the scapegoat. Right? Make a game, sell a game. Am I supposed to blame people right now? I'm a streamer. I only have 31 people. There's 1 million people not watching me. Well, they don't like my show. They must be sexist, racist, and misogynistic. Right? I'm making my show every morning. I talk about stuff. We have conversations. You like it, you like it. You don't. I'm not sitting here going, man, I should be like Asmongold. I should have millions of people watching me. I should have hundreds of thousands of people watching me. No, I'm just making my content. Make my content. Put my content out there. Eclipse says, I love Metrovania. The combat just wasn't good in that game. Very clunky, and the hitboxes were all. Oh, for that game? Fuck those 1 million people? We don't need them. Remember, it didn't make it because the people that they made the movie for didn't want to watch it. That's a hell of a criticism right there, right? We made it for women. Women didn't want to go watch it. Well, I don't know. Do you think women want to watch a woman? Or do you think they want to watch a hot man? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But that's the beautiful part about it, Mo, right? Video games, books, movies, TV shows, podcasts, videos, they're all subjective. Someone's watching me right now, says this fucking fool doesn't know what he's talking about, and they log out or they leave a comment. Other people are like, I like what you have to say. Okay? Video games are the exact same way. What you like, someone doesn't like. You said it the other day. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Okay? So to have these conversations of, obviously you didn't say you're right or wrong, right? You're saying you disagree. You like the combat. He doesn't like the combat. That's just the way things are. The water has been tainted. We all know in the movies and games, it's also not because of what isn't or ists. We didn't watch it because we don't want to. It's simply don't care about it or play it. Well, here's another thing, right? A lot of people are not going to the movies. Why? Why aren't people going to the movies right now? Besides the people talking in theaters and the cell phones and all the other stuff. It's going to be on the streaming service, what, next month? You know what I mean? No one's going to theaters because they know it's coming out. They're like, I'll just wait 17 days for it to come on the streaming service. Travis says, Alan Wake 2 was absolutely the victim of people calling the main protagonist woke. Thus, it was a black woman saw it happen. But you understand that they changed the character, right? They actually showed that character before, and she wasn't black. So, again, like, these are things that were changed because of certain things. Let certain people tell the hot man is for dudes. I mean, I like watching Rambo and Terminator and all that stuff because the action heroes are like, man, that guy's crazy, right? I don't think Tom Cruise is hot. I think he's a crazy motherfucker that likes to jump out of planes, right? And that's cool. Considering Magic Mike made almost $200 million from a $7 million budget, I say women do want to see hot dudes. Yeah. Did they go see, what was the other movie? The other stripper movie with the girl from Elizabeth Berkley? Is that her name? From Saved by the Bell? What was that one called? Was it Striptease? What was that movie? No, what was that? Yeah, that bombed. That bombed. Was it because people were sexist, racist, and misogynistic back then? I don't think so. I think it was because there's a shit movie. What's a book? Conditioning through streaming. Yeah, it's the same thing happening with video games. Game comes out, they're like, is that on Game Pass? If not, it's going to be. I'll just wait, right? PC players. Is that coming to PC? No? I'll wait. Roadkill says, woke society has killed this country, and just wait. With all the crazy ass woke shit, the suicide rate is going to skyrocket in 15 years. It's already skyrocketing, isn't it, in certain countries and stuff? Women love women, just like I love women, says the great 50 Cent. X says, I watch it with my own home, comfortable on my big screen with surround sound and being able to eat what I want. Right, and you save money. Now, I personally love movies. I went to go see a movie this past weekend, right? We saw If, right? I love going to theaters. Okay? Now, I know I'm not going to be saving the theaters all on my own, but they need to change the way movie theaters and when it goes to platform. They got to stop going to streaming so fast. They got to put it out and wait. Yeah, you got to do FOMO. To get people back in theaters, you got to do FOMO. You do. And not FOMO to make people forced to go buy the microtransaction, but you need FOMO like you put it in theaters, and then once it leaves theaters, you're not seeing that thing for a year and a half. Okay? That's what they have to do if they want theaters to come back. But if they don't care, then, whatever. Chicks love 50 Shades. They love 50 Shades because they want to be dominated. That's why they watch that movie, read the books. They fantasize about that shit. They're like, ooh. They get butterflies. It's that chase. It's that. Who's 50 Cent and why is he broke? 50 Cent ain't broke. Yes, if they wait, they'll get back to theaters. They have to. They have to delay the release from Red Letter Media said this, and I know more people listen to them than they do me. But I've said this in the past. You got to stop putting movies out so fast. Remember when we were younger? Those of you that are 35 plus, okay? I'm 46, okay? When a movie hit theaters, it was in theaters for months. And then once it left the theater, it didn't come to home theater, like home movies, VHS, Betamax, DVD, until a year afterwards. Okay? So at that point, you either saw it in theater or you waited a really long time for it to come to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or your local video store. And then, if you didn't want to go rent it, you would wait for it to come on HBO or one of those sites. Now, it goes to theaters, and within 30 days, it's on a streaming service. Why would I go to the theater? Why would I give you money? Okay. But the industry did this to themselves, right? The movie industry did this to themselves because they didn't want to split the pot with the theaters anymore, right? They said, we'll skip the theaters and we'll put it in and we'll charge $20 at home. Okay. And the mind of that mindset, if they go to the theater and 4 people go to the theater makes $100, let's say. Let's just say it's $20 a pop. They make $100. And then the movie company makes a percentage of that. Well, now they don't want to pay that. So now they put it on the streaming service and they charge $20. Okay, well, now there's 4 people watching the film because a family of 4. But now they're making $20. So make $20 here or make $20 here. What is it? Is that better? Because now what they're doing is they're screwing themselves over. Right? Because when it was in theaters and then it came to DVDs, they would subsidize and make more money off of that. But now they don't do that. Now they just get the $20 over here and they lose billions of dollars and they wonder why they can't make it. Robert Jones says, chicks love to be dominated. 30 and still gaming 2024. That's right. That's why 50 Shades of Grey was popular. What do you think? Is it because of a good storytelling for 50 Shades of Grey? No. Every single one of them pictured themselves as her in that book. I hate going to the movies, sitting there, and someone's munching on shit talking, loud phone, or rather wait till it comes out and watch it at home. Sure. Remember, we didn't have this problem back in the old days because there wasn't cell phones. Yeah, I personally, just like you go to a comedy show, nowadays you have to put your phone in a sealed case, right? So you can't film or anything at the comedy show. I'm okay if they do that. Okay, if they do that inside of the movie theaters, right? You're there for two hours. Okay, now I know what people are thinking, but what about if I have an emergency? I mean, it is what it is. I was in the theater, and my dog got out, and my neighbor called me, and we were in the middle of the theater. He said, your dog's walking down the road. Okay. Now, what am I going to do? Am I going to jump out of the seat? Come on, we got to go. I got to go find the dog. No, my neighbor, which is a good neighbor. You should know your neighbors. Okay. He took the dog and kept him until we got back. Okay. And I just texted him real fast. Okay. Emergencies happen, but phones should go inside the thing. That way everyone else can enjoy the fucking movie. They're seeing Phantom Menace is 25 years old. Yeah. Can you imagine that next year, the episode 7 is 10 years old? Deuce Bigalow needs a part 3. Is there a Deadpool 3? The Last Jedi stinks needs to come off 2017. The movie would be epic trash. Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, Part 3. What? 30, what's episode 7? I never heard of it. I actually forgot the name of it. That's why I said episode 7, Travis. I forgot the name of episode 7. I'm trying to think of it right now. Force Awakens. Got it. I literally forgot what the hell it was called. My brain literally just completely forgot. I told you, I blacked it out. Farce Awakens. All right, so we got the Suicide Squad stuff done. All right, so this is a story that kind of continues on from Jason Schreier because he mentioned it. So now Inside Gamer, I don't know if they don't really talk much about it, but we'll talk about it anyway. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be a breakout video. We'll just talk about it real fast. So Hogwarts Legacy Director's Cut is in development, says new report. If you guys like what I do here, we cover news stories, have conversations with chat. It's like almost coming into my house, sitting on my couch and just us bullshitting with each other. You know what I mean? We just have conversations, have talks back and forth with live chat. If you like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. We do this Monday through Thursday, like I said, from 10 to 12. All right, so Hogwarts Legacy Director's Cut is in development, says new report. A new report from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, on development of Rocksteady Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was revealed that Warner Brothers is working on a new Hogwarts Legacy's Director's Cut. In Bloomberg report, Schreier's details of a lot of Suicide Squad shortcomings, which encouraged you to, read it if you want to. But towards the end of the report, he says that Warner Brothers is now working on Director's Cut of Hogwarts Legacy. I would like to know what that what that means of director's cut. Like, are they adding more to the game? Are they taking stuff that they put on the cutting room floor and adding it to the game? Like, what are they doing with the director's cut? That'd be interesting to know more. The game, which is in development by Avalanche Software, has the most successful game in 2023, selling over 23 million copies within 2 weeks on launch. The game should be an impressive 12 million copies and generated over 850 million globally revenue. Given that Warner Bros. Also lost $200 million in development of Suicide Squad, the Justice League, it makes sense to continue capitalizing on a successful release. And instead, the majority of Rocksteady is working on the director's cut. Okay. Today, Hogwarts Legacy will also be getting a new update across all platforms, and the update is being promoted as the WB encouraging users to share their screenshots, take photo mode, with the hashtag capture the unwritten. It's not entirely clear on what we include the director's cut or will be released, but it's given that Bloomberg sources have released or revealed it exists and could be announced sooner rather than later. It'll be interesting to know what the director's cut has. What do you guys think it would have on there, right? I'm thinking maybe a couple extra missions, right? Maybe a higher fidelity, right? Maybe a more framed. I don't know. Like, what do you do in a director's cut? Because right now, all the stuff that they had in PlayStation is now on PC and Xbox, so they're all on all platforms now, right? I think Switch is, I don't know if it comes out the exact same time, but we waited a year and a half for this mission, this one mission that PlayStation got, a year and a half ago. What does it mean for director's cut? I don't know. I mean, I still think they're working on some sort of live service aspect of it, right? Like a Fallout First, right? Again, I know I'm very, small-minded here about this. I stick on this. I think Hogwarts Legacy and Starfield will have some sort of online, if it's added to the game or if it's a separate game down the road, like they make Hogwarts Legacy online version or they make Starfield online version. It's just these games are so large and big and people want to be in these worlds that I can't see it not happening, but that's just my thoughts, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think the director's cut is going to be for Hogwarts Legacy? I mean, obviously, it's official. They are working on it. People from the company said they're working on it. People moved over from Suicide Squad into them to help them make Hogwarts Legacy director's cut. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. Check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Yeah, but how many missions? You know what I mean? Like, if you can just go buy the regular version right now, or you get the director's cut. So, like, what's the director's cut going to have? Just missions? That seems a little weird to have a director's cut. Got to be something else more to it, I would think. Morecat says, the big question is it going to be only sold as a separate game? I would assume they want to make more money, Morecat. So, yeah, I think it would be a separate standalone game, sort of like Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, whatever other, Death Stranding director's cut. They saw it sold well, so let's do it again. Kojima did it with Death Stranding, milking titles like Last of Us. Right. Which we had a conversation last night. I think it's too early to make, like, a remaster. Like, it literally came out last year. Dolphin says, Dolphin's taking some playbook out of Ron. There you go. Hogwarts Legacy needs an extraction shooter like giant bugs. So the question is this, why didn't they make this a games of service? This would have been amazing. They could have done at least 4 years, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year at Hogwarts. I think the backlash would have been outrageous, Water, right? And I also think that Hogwarts was in that phase before live service games when they were making it. Remember, it took them 7 years, I think, to make this game. So they didn't know live service games were going to be big when they started making this game. So maybe the director's cut is that version. Maybe the director's cut is going to be that live service aspect. Who knows? Jones says, "Why isn't this a live service?" Is a question I hate to hear. I like to take this and take live service out of the question, right, Jones? Take live service and say, why isn't this an MMO? Right? Why isn't Hogwarts Legacy an MMO or MMO Lite? Hogwarts needs mech suits. Are we getting hiccups in YouTube? No, it says we're good. Oh yeah, we got a hiccup at 11:10. Yeah, I'm guessing new spells, cosmetic missions, or 2, a buddy system, photo mode. A buddy system. One extra person I think would be fun. I remember the first time I played Wizards 101 was like, man, I wish this was Harry Potter. Yeah. I think games come along that can do certain things that other games can't, right? Like Helldivers, what they're doing, the way they're doing live service, I think no other game can like kind of like copy it because of what it is, right? Now, obviously, like Halo could come out with an extraction shooter like Helldivers, right? But Helldivers set the tone because it's generic. If Halo does it, it's kind of like copying. Hogwarts could do a live service game, and I don't think people would be upset about it. I think people would be okay with it because they want to be in that world. And this is why I say live service games are not bad, just bad live service games are bad, right? You could do, I mean, look, when they showed the numbers in the, when you're in your base and you're planting plants and there's like a timer, in the very beginning, we're like, is this a mobile game, right? Is this something that you got to pay to microtransaction to make it faster? And they said, no, there's nothing there. And we're like, okay, all right. And it turned out to be a wonderful game. It's the first traditional Harry Potter game besides Lego. That's a good runaway into the next story, Jones. Is there a first traditional Harry Potter? I think there's other Harry Potter games. I'm not very sure. I mean, Warner Brothers is trying to capitalize. They're doing the Quidditch game. That's a free-to-play game. I don't know, man. I think you could bank. If Warner Brothers was smart, if they were smart, they would make Hogwarts Legacy, they would turn it into a live service game. Okay? And constantly just give more holiday events, new seasons. Like, I could see them 100% adding more story and stuff over time. It would make sense. Oh, yeah, there's lots of Harry Potter games. I just don't know if there's a, as he's asking, is there a traditional one? Now that it's successful, they can make an MMO or live service now. Right, but here's why I think they shouldn't make a separate standalone game, okay? The problem with a Harry Potter, if they make an MMO, like a separate MMO, then you're pulling people from this game. I think people love this game so much that you keep them within. Like, for instance, people love Grand Theft Auto 5, okay? They could have made a separate game of Grand Theft Auto 5 online, but they put the online into Grand Theft Auto 5 because why would you separate the people? Okay? You keep them inside that game. I think the same thing with Hogwarts and Starfield. You don't make a separate MMO style if it's like a Fallout type of game where it's only like 32 per server or whatever it is, 16 per server, 24, I forget what it is. Right? You make it within the game itself because you don't want people leaving the game to go play a different game. You want them to stay in the game that they love and then add to that game. Right? If people want to buy Hogwarts Legacy and they want to play single player, let them play single player. But if they want to play online, then in the menu system, you play single player and you play multiplayer. And that's what it should be. Hell, I would even add more to it. Ready? I'm gonna go more to it. Okay? I think people like this game so much that if you add a Fallout First type of server where you make your own private server and then you can build stuff in it where it's your own map, okay, and you can start decorating and doing whatever, I think people would love that as well in that community. right? As long as they don't pull from what the game is. They made a game. They sold a game. The game is a wonderful game. Marvel Midnight Suns is free Epic game for this week. Is that what the entire DLC, like with Venom into them, or is it just the base game? I'm just asking. Speaking of Legos, Robert Jones read my mind. Okay, the next story, okay, or the next rumor story, I should say, is Lego Horizon Adventures to be announced at Summer Game Fest. Yeah, but GTA 5 may have been built with online in mind. Sure, House. It's absolutely built in within mind. Here, let me go back to this before we start talking about the Lego one, right? It absolutely had it in mind. But what I'm saying is they had it in the same game, right? GTA 4 had online, had a multiplayer, right? GTA 5 from the ground up had multiplayer on at the last second. What I'm saying is that's the way, the way Grand Theft Auto did it, that's the way it should be done. Fallout 76 has done the opposite, right? Fallout 76 has done the opposite because they made it an online game. But then if you want to play solo, they charge you for your own private server. Which is weird, okay? Right? They made the multiplayer, and if you want solo, then you pay for it. All right. Let's go to this. Yeah, I'm having the hiccups too. I don't know why YouTube is doing what it's doing. YouTube is being YouTube, right? So, Lego Horizons Adventures to be announced at the Summer Game Fest, okay? If you guys like what I do here, we do cover news stories Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We have conversations back and forth. If you like this type of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so Horizon, very popular franchise within the PlayStation community. Lego Horizon Adventures to be announced at the Summer Game Fest. I haven't read the article yet. We're going to read it together now. Just off the headline, I'm a little confused, as Mo is in chat, right? Like, why wouldn't you announce this at State of Play? Now, I guess a couple people could say that there's more people watching Summer Game Fest than there was the State of Play, which is fine. But at the same time, why wouldn't you mention it at State of Play and then show it at Summer Game Fest, right? I don't understand that, right? There's games that don't show anything, and then they tweet something on Twitter, and everyone's like, I can't wait for the game to come out. So I'm a little confused by this. Now, I am excited because I do love Lego games. To me, Lego games are one of the best franchises between the Star Wars and Harry Potter and Batman and Lord of the Rings, right? They've had some Indiana Jones. They've had some really great Lego games over the decades, okay? And this is just yet another one. Now, it's a very big franchise, and I understand why PlayStation's doing this with Legos because I feel like they're trying to get that next, younger generation to go, oh, I like this, and then they'll go into the next games as they get older. You know what I mean? So let's continue here. It says a new report detailed that Lego Horizon Adventures will be revealed during Summer Game Fest. A new report comes courtesy of reputable data miner Billy Bill Kunn, Deal Labs, who also often finds a majority of his information data mining websites. According to the data miner, Lego Horizons Adventures is set to be revealed at Summer Game Fest, with pre-orders being live immediately after. Okay. Last month, Inside Gamer reported that Lego Horizons game is in development thanks to the trademark found by Twitter. And also the name of the game is revealed as Lego Horizons Adventures. Now, Insider Gamer can confirm that the game revealed is set to be Summer Game Fest during the main show on June 7th. Now, Bill Kunn also adds to a report that the game will be available on day one on both PlayStation 5 and PC, which is a line with PlayStation's latest comments on releasing live service games together on both platforms. According to the report, Lego Horizon Adventures will also support cross-platform co-op mode, and there will also be 2 editions of the game available, Standard Edition and Deluxe Edition. Price contains a release date, and the game and editions are not yet available. What do you think about Horizons? Now, I'm a little confused here. Now, it's a first person IP, or if not first person, first party IP of Horizons. Now, obviously, Legos is a third party, right? And they're making a Lego game, but coming on PlayStation 5 and PC at the same time. It's not a live service game. I would think not. Maybe it is. But didn't PlayStation say themselves that we're only releasing games that are live service games, right? Live service games are coming day and date. But yet here, PlayStation 5 and PC, supposedly, right? Again, we're taking this with a grain of salt, right? We're taking this with a grain of salt because we don't even know if the game's coming out yet. It's a leak. It's a rumor saying it's going to be here tomorrow, Friday, June 7th, when they announce it. Okay, but they say here also in the rumor that it's supposed to release on PlayStation 5 and PC day and date. But PlayStation just said that they're not going to release games day and date unless it's a live service game. So they do say it's cross-platform, and they do say it's co-op mode, and there will be 2 editions available, a standard edition and a deluxe edition. Now, I don't know if it's a live service game. It doesn't say it's a live service game. We'll have to wait and see. But I find it very interesting, right? Because I always say it is until it isn't. Okay, so is it a live service game? Is it not a live service game? Is it coming day and date? Because if it's coming day and date, then it's going against what you're saying with your big titles. Now, I get it. Legos is not your big first-party title, but you're taking an IP that is a first-party title, putting it on a Lego game, and then releasing that day and date, and it's not a live service game. Or maybe it is. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this? Are you excited for... I've never played the Horizon games. I own the first one, never played it. I'll probably wait till the remastered comes out and it comes on to PC when the total package is out there. But are you going to play the Lego Adventures? I think I probably will because my son plays all the Lego games. So I think this will be a fun pickup to play. Just like he watched Star Wars for the first time, basically, by playing the Lego Star Wars games. And then when he watched the movies, he knew stuff that was going on. So this, you're playing the Horizon Adventure, and now you go back and play the actual Horizon Adventure afterwards. Be pretty interesting to see. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is going to be a live service game? And what's going on here? Is PlayStation releasing day-and-date games on PC that are not live service games? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Eclipse says, exactly. I don't understand why you just didn't have the state of play at Summer Game Fest, like Xbox doing it with theirs. I mean, this is why they did E3. They had their own showcase. Yeah, I'm confused on why they did a state of play before Summer Game Fest. They could have easily inserted their Summer Game Fest videos, like, or state of play during Summer Game Fest, like the weekend. I don't know. 8-Bit Pro says, so wait. Oh, wait, so it's a live service? I don't think it's a live service. It doesn't say it's a live service, but based on what PlayStation said, that they only release games day and date if it's live service, and yet this is coming out, it's got co-op. I don't know if that means live service. They like to play their own rules now, Sony, right? Or by their own rules. Every time someone argues with Mo, all I see is my blue symbol is better than your green one. Mo says, shh, Mike, don't say nothing. Is this a first-party game? No, but it's also technically not a live service game. And they said only live service games will be coming day and date. I mean, they could do whatever they want. Right, Jones? I don't care what they do. I just think it's funny. We're not releasing day and date on PC unless it's live service. Lego Star Wars or Lego Horizons coming out day and date. Is it live service? No. Should I move the goalpost? We'll wait. We'll wait before we move the goalpost. We'll move it on Friday night. It's co-op. How long is the Xbox showcase? I'm assuming longer than 30 minutes, right? It's supposedly, rumors are it's an hour and a half to 2 hours for Xbox. There's supposed to be 30 games being shown. it can't be multiplayer and not live service. That's not true. I'm playing Hypercharge Unbox. That's multiplayer and not live service. This all sounds like console war talking points. I mean, I'm just reporting it, Jones, as PlayStation themselves said games are not coming out day and date on PC and PlayStation 5 unless it's live service. If it's live service, then nothing to look at. But if it's not live service and it's just co-op, okay, then I don't understand. I think PlayStation is slowly transitioning into not doing any shows aside from one per year to highlight the big games that it's about to release. Jeff's show is the new E3. Yeah, but they already showed games that are coming out, right? Again, also another rumor. I want to bring this up real fast because the other day, JC, I don't know if JC is here right now, but in our submitted stories, I posted this. I tried to tag him in it, but do we not? Oh, right here. Okay. That supposedly, right? Supposedly that Spider-Man Carnage, right? The DLC is coming out for Spider-Man. Now, he said, I think they're going to show it at Summer Game Fest. And I said, I don't think they would because why wouldn't they show it at State of Play? Okay. Now, I do think that this game's coming out in September, October, or October, November time. Okay. But I do find it strange that you wouldn't announce this Spider-Man Carnage at your own State of Play, right? They showed Concord, they show Astro Boy. Those are both first-party titles, and yet they're taking this. Now, maybe Keighley was like, dude, please give it to us on Summer Game Fest. Maybe that's why they're doing it. But it just seems a little odd to me. One, that PlayStation did their show a week before the show, not during the weekend of the show, okay? And two, that they would take their biggest DLC of their most popular game, or one of the most popular games, and not show it on their State of Play. It just seems weird. But I'll be wrong, and I will admit to JC that I was absolutely wrong when they show it, because I said I don't think they're going to show it at Summer Game Fest. Very interesting in the news is true from Inside and Gamer. Yeah, we'll see, 8-Bit. I'm on about the fact that Sony has always said showcases a mini State of Play is a full event. 29 indie titles and one decent title. Big blockbuster single-player games. Sony's saving away from day and date. Salty says, I just want to see Blade and maybe another Gears. I don't think we see more Blade. You think we see gameplay of Blade at Xbox? You think we see gameplay? I think we see more gameplay of 1943, 42, Hydra, Rise of Hydra. I think we see gameplay of that. Yeah, I could see Jeff like begging to have it at his showcase for the first time. I just think it's weird though that you don't show it at your own show. Like the most hype thing that people were credible about by State of Play was Astro Boy. Like, I'm not saying Astro Boy is a shit game by any means, but that's your big title. Right? That's your big title that you wanted to show. Meanwhile, you have the DLC of Spider-Man, one of your greatest selling games of all time in the series. And yet, you're not going to tell it at the State of Play? A little weird to leave your fan base hanging, isn't it? You get a chance, check out the story I posted in general. Not sure if it's true or not. All right. Yeah, we already talked about this. It was part of the the reports inside of Jason Schreier's thing about the single player. Yeah. Astro Boy brings back the era of PlayStation that brought quirky, fun platformers as pure nostalgia. Oh, absolutely. I don't think Astro Boy's bad. I'm just saying that's your big title that you wanted. They did not want Spider-Man to overshadow Concord. I mean, I just don't understand their mentality of it. That's all. That's all. I think Xbox is missing stuff like that. I think Xbox is missing the kid-friendly games. I do. In Sony's defense, they did say it was going to be a slow year from first-party devs. No? Sure, Kylo, but why not show that at your state of play? That's my only thing. I don't care if it's slow or not. I'm just confused why they wouldn't show the DLC of Spider-Man at their own event. That's the only thing I'm confused about. Wasn't state of play. It was a mini showcase. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You're telling me. Hold on a second. You're telling me. You're telling me it wasn't the state of play. Is that what you're going to go with? You're saying it wasn't state of play. Is that what you're really going to go with? Is that what you're going to go with? Travis. Do I gotta make it bigger for you? Do I gotta make it bigger? But you just said this is not state of play. It was a Sony showcase, not a state of play. Look it up, Mo. What does that say? What does that say? In English. What does it say? On PlayStation Channel, 6 days ago, State of Play, May 30th, 2024. State of Play. State of Play. Begins in State of Play. Like, the amount of Travis, sometimes you make my brain hurt. You're such, and I get it. You're talking to an Xbox fanboy, and you're such a Sony fanboy that you guys, your brains start like to deteriorate, okay, as you're talking to each other, okay? You're so hard up by putting your jersey on that you're like, it's not a state of play. They said it themselves. Look it up, okay? State of play. Stop it. Stop putting your jerseys on and talking about stuff that you guys are just bantering back and forth to make points that make no sense. Go to another channel. Okay, go to another channel that's an Xbox fanboy channel, or go to another channel that's a Sony fanboy channel. That's not this channel. This channel talks about evidence and facts in front of us, and we just have conversations about it. They said the bigger show. It doesn't matter about the bigger showcase. That was a state of play. That was a PlayStation state of play, and they chose not to show their games at their state of play, and they're showing it 1 week later. It makes no sense. $8-Bit Pro says, I just want to talk about games. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, 8-Bit. if I'm a PlayStation guy, right, and they go, oh, Sony State of Play, I'm like, all right, I'm excited. Let's watch the State of Play. You watch the State of Play, and you're like, all right, cool. There were some good games there. And then a week later, they show more games that they didn't show at their State of Play. Be like, why didn't they show it? Why didn't they show us there? It's possible they have saved announcements. Makoki, listen to the conversation we're having. Please, listen to the conversation we're having. The conversation that we're having is, why wouldn't they just take the State of Play and move it to this weekend, where everybody else in the industry is having their E3, Summer Game Fest, whatever you want to fucking call it, okay? Why would they have their State of Play ahead of everybody else and then yet show nothing and then take all the stuff that people were interested in and then move it to the Summer Game Fest? Why wouldn't you have your State of Play during Summer Game Fest? I mean, obviously they're saving it. Obviously there's business involved behind it. Keeley probably is like, hey, I know you guys have some big stuff coming up. Can we have Spider-Man's DLC at Summer Game Fest? We have 80 million people that watch it. You're going to get more eyeballs on it. And Sony's like, yeah, sure. Sure. Right? Titan says to show off Concord and Astro Boy, the other games first, so they don't overshadow it. I said that earlier. Maybe they didn't show it because they didn't want to overshadow Concord. Concord was supposed to be that big thing that people talked about. They're talking about it in a different way after the showcase, right? And Astro Boy is a cool title for them, but at the same time, that's not God of War, that's not Spider-Man, that's not Horizon. The Lego adventure with Horizon, I totally get it if you want to show that at the Summer Game Fest. But Spider-Man's pretty big, right? And again, I'm okay with them showing it, but why didn't you just take your whole State of Play and put it during this weekend? That's what I'm confused about. The new CEOs have other plans, maybe. Let's tentpole titles cook, like the other announcements, at least a major title, wishful thinking. Well, here's the thing as well. Okay, let's go with the Titan, what Titan said. They don't want to be overshadowed, okay? Do we think that when they show Spider-Man's DLC, do we think that's not going to be overshadowed by something else that they're going to show at Summer Game Fest? Do we think that that is going to be the standout for everybody? That's the question I have for you guys, right? Do we think that that is going to be the top thing, the top billing, instead of a third-party game coming out for all consoles, right? On PlayStation, on Xbox, on PC. Do we think that is going to get overshadowed or overshadow Spider-Man at that point? Spider-Man 2 is a standout, no question. So there's no other game, Travis, that would overshadow Spider-Man 2. DLC. DLC, by the way. It's not a standalone game, it's DLC. All right, we read the Horizon one. We got the Lego Hogwarts. We got the Hogwarts one. We got one story. Crowded House says Sony's saving up the next episode for Suicide Squad for summer game reveal. Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. Spider-Man 2 DLC could be a standalone. You think it's a standalone? You don't think it's DLC, Titan? You think it's going to be a standalone game? Do you think that comes out this year? Do you think it's going to be a full price game then, Titan? Do you think it's going to be a $70 game? Could be both DLC and standalone, physical and digital. Could be both DLC and standalone. Well, how can it be both? Sorry, look up a game called Kill Knight. Oh, is this a twin stick shooter? All right, I'll bring it up on stream. Yeah, we won't play the music. This just reminds me of like Brotato, but in an isometric game. Like Vampire Survivor, Brotato in a small little map. It looks like a twin stick shooter, right? Looks pretty cool. It's got that old school like Contra vibe. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Reloaded. Yeah. That looks pretty good. Dragon Age Dreadwolf has officially been renamed to Dragon Age the Vile Guard. Let me tell you. This game has had so much problems. I'm going to bring just the title up. This game has had so much problems and it's gone through so much development. People moving and leaving the company because of things that... This is going to be a very... Do not pre-order this game. Do not pre-order this game. Okay? Do not pre-order this game. Do not buy this game day one. Okay? This game was during Anthem. They were told to use the Frostbite engine to make a game. Okay? They didn't want to use the engine to make the game. They were forced to use the engine. Not the Frostbite. Was it Frostbite? Yeah, no, it was Frostbite. Okay. Printing it is for Squares, yeah. So they were told to use an engine they didn't want to use. The people that were on this game got moved off this game to help Anthem, and then after Anthem, they went back to this game, and then they left this game. This game has been remade, repurposed. They've had so many problems with this game. Just be warned, okay? I know nothing of this game as far as we haven't seen anything of it. Maybe they show something, but do not touch this game when it comes out. No matter how good it looks, okay? No matter how good it looks and what they promise you it's going to be, hold off. I'm telling you right now, it's going to have massive issues and massive problems because of what they've done to this game over the time frame, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me. Trust me. Okay? First official 15 minutes of gameplay premiere on June 11th. 7 unique campaigns and deep, compelling storylines. New title better reflects the story group companions. Players will take on the role of an original protagonist similar to the Warden, Hawk, and Inquisitor. You and your companions make up the Vile Guard, protecting the Veil. The Veil Guard. The Veil also will taking down a new evil threat unleashed upon. A player's agency is very important. Create a story where you can impact the world and companions around you. Each companion is intended to represent different factions in the game. They have their own arcs. Players will visit more regions. There's also another villain beyond the solstice. Combat was a big focus for the team and will feature the ability to wheel that can also be used to pause, design, or designate to give players more direct control over their characters, and players can bring 2 companions along, similar to Mass Effect. There you go. Stay strong. Don't pre-order. Water says, listen, I love Dragon Age, but this right here has more red flags than a gorgeous stripper in Atlanta. Twine Kinger. Is it BioWare? Yes, it is BioWare. I actually pre-ordered Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man 2. That's fine. Do not pre-order Dragon Age. I'm telling you. First of all, you named 2 games that are exclusive on PlayStation. Quality is much different than third-party EA BioWare. Ape-It, I know you're semi-new. I know you've been in a couple of my streams and stuff like that. Trust me. Don't pre-order Dragon Age. Nothing will happen if you don't pre-order it. Just wait. Just wait it out. This game has gone through so much turmoil, it's almost like Skull and Bones. It's almost like Skull and Bones. I'm telling you. This game was supposed to come out 4 years ago. If you think this game's coming out and it's going to be like the amazing thing, is Skull and Bones dead yet? I don't know if it's dead, but I mean, can we go? Let me see. You can't look up numbers, right? You can't look up numbers. Skull and Bones is fire, apparently. Is fire or is on fire? Did you miss on? Is on fire or is it fire? BGE 2 is entering Duke Nukem Forever territory. Al says, the game is sunk. Yuck, yuck, yuck. On fire sale. Apparently it's great. It's great. All right, hold on a second. I mean, each their own. You've said it. Chew your own food, and, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. But that's Redfall territory. That's Redfall territory. Now, I do know that you liked Redfall. But the difference between Redfall and Skull and Bones is Redfall's on Game Pass. Skull and Bones is not as of yet. It's had more than one free week, Eclipse. It's had more than one free week. Here, real fast. I'm sure Skull and Bones is fine, right? I'm sure it's fine. Let's look at what Skull and Bones is right now. Let's see here. Yeah. You can literally get this. This is off their own site, their own website. The game came out just a couple months ago. You could get it for $30. I'm sure the game is on fire, but not the fire that you're talking about. Okay. This is a game that's a quadruple A game that's supposed to last 10 years. Okay? They literally have put it on sale on their own site. I'm not even going to GameStop or Best Buy or any other places. Their own site, their own place, okay, is $29.99 right now. Or you could get the missions, the Smuggler Pass token, the art book soundtrack, the premium bonus pack, the base game for $17.99 on their Ubisoft Plus. But that subscription, Mike, yep. Redfall isn't even delivering a pre-order bonus promised over a year ago. Actually, Kinger, they fixed it. Well, actually, I don't know if they've added that part yet, but they've delivered on the offline mode before the shop closed. Last second, they're like, hey, get that online mode off there. So there's an offline mode to play Redfall, but I'm not sure if they are continuing putting the rest of the characters that they promised. I think they canceled that, but yeah. The difference between Skull and Bones and the first quadruple A title, absurd, abysmal, abrasive. It's a lot of A's. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It just need to remake Black Flag, as a matter of fact. That's what they should have had happen in the first place. That's what they did. That's what the game was when it first came out. This got rebooted 4 times. Rebooted 4 times. Oh, no DLC. That's refunded. Okay, so they refunded the people, Mo, for that. Well, that's good. That's good. They just took everyone's money, put it in a bank account, got the interest, and then decided to pay everyone's money back. Yeah, it went from Black Flag DLC to standalone game to reboot it, to reboot it, to reboot it. What you got here is an open world, multiplayer, microtransaction hell. Remember, Ubisoft's deal is they don't care if there's 10 people playing Skull and Bones and 999,000 people playing Assassin's Creed. They have their clientele, right? Their clientele's in this circle. Within this circle, there's a bunch of other circles. And in that circle is Skull and Bones, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or Valhalla, right? Origins, Mirage, all the other Ubisoft games that they want to put out there. Okay? That's what their MO is. Their MO is take 2 million, 3 million people and not put them into one game. It's to put them into all these live service, massive, bloated games that all have microtransactions in them So to keep them within the ecosystem of Ubisoft. Kingard says, we have record player engagement on Skull and Bones. Translation, 7 people are playing it, and they're playing it a lot. That's 0.3% adds up. All right. I first want to get... I want to show of hands, right? There's only 30 of you guys here, okay? Show of hands. How many of you were interested in Concord? When you first saw Concord in the non-state of play last week, okay? How many of you were interested in Concord? Okay. Put a emote in chat. Thumbs up from me from an emote thing. Thumbs up if you were interested in Concord. Thumbs down, whatever. I want to see what you guys are interested in. Then we're gonna go down a list here for a second. Okay. Henry Heck, is that a fist punching, or is that like I'm like right on? Is that like punching them? Like, no? Is that bad or good? I just want to make sure. Thumbs down, thumbs down. Okay. So apparently, okay, so now what if I told you it's a $40 price tag? Okay. Are you still interested in Concord if it's $40? All the devs on Firewalk or ex-Bungie? Hal says, I'm confused by the entire thing. They showed cutscenes telling a story, and the next second, they're all shooting each other in the face. The stories every other week, every 2 weeks, there's going to be more story content, apparently, the way they're doing it. Sin says $40 isn't a bad price. Henry says I would have been even if it's 60. If he's a PvP or only gamers, it makes no difference the price point. Same as Helldivers 2 price. I'd rather play Rivals, Overwatch 2. At least they're free to play. And that's my next question, right? So here's my an honest question here. Do we think that Concord, because it's a PvP competitive shooter, right? That's what it is, right? Would you rather play this, or would you rather play Marvel Rivals, or would you rather play Star Wars Hunters, or would you rather play Call of Duty, or would you rather play Apex, or would you rather play, right? My question is the finals, whatever it is, right? There's a lot of free-to-play games. There's a lot of like mid-tier, like $40 type to play. So my question is, do you think, Henry, as you're a person that's excited about the game, that you're going to buy it no matter what, do you think that this has sustainability in this gaming aspect of Tarkov and all the other games that are out there within the PvP competitive circuit? Do you think it has legs? Do you think it can make it with all of this other stuff happening? Right? Here's a weird thing as well, right? Now, obviously, this is not an extraction, but Marathon comes out next year sometime, supposedly, right? Now, this is a Concord. Concord's a PlayStation game. Marathon is not a PlayStation game, but it is made by Bungie, which they own, and they're competing against the same player base. I thought it was every 2 weeks, Mo. I could be wrong. I thought it was every 2 weeks. I thought it was every time you did a mission, the way I understood it in the very beginning when we first saw it. But then after the fact, kind of funny, I think they said maybe it's every week. Every week or every 2 weeks, whatever it is, they're going to continue the story. I said it'll probably be like Exoprimal, where you level up and then it gives you a cutscene or whatnot. The third Overwatch clone in development right now. No thanks. Right. Oh, right. X Defiant's out as well. I totally forgot about X Defiant. Okoki says, "I bet it will actually feel good to play. I just feel like it's a bit late for the hero shooter." Right. That's what I'm saying. I think it's coming into a convoluted, a very populated point right now. I'm not giving shit to the game. This is why we're having a conversation, right? I'm just wondering if it's too late. Hell, even Lawbreakers is coming back out, right? Lawbreakers is coming back out. Henry says, "Yeah, I'm a PvPer, so I'm always interested in new shooters." Well, you got plenty of them coming. So you're eating well. You're eating well, Henry. There's lots and lots of PvP shooters coming out for you. The whole concept is stupid. It better be the game's game mode ever. Best game mode ever. I'll say yes, depending upon the abilities, balance, movement, and updates. Did you play Marvel Rivals? Did you try Marvel Rivals out? I heard Fortnite, 2 weeks. Defiant is free. Saturated beyond belief. I don't see the game lasting very long. There's also already too many games like it. I didn't see anything new. It's Destiny. Right, it's just Destiny minus Destiny. It's just the PvP of Destiny minus the Destiny part. Titan says it depends. If Sony devs support the game in a vein of Helldivers 2, but it won't be popular as Helldivers 2, I'm predicting. I'll give crap to the game. Looks like a cash-in. Also overly political for some reason. Yeah, I think it's over-politicized because of what's happening with the DEI shit that's going on, Kingard. Eclipse says, "I will play Marvel Rivals at least. That's Marvel skins. I do not see anything in the game that makes me interested in at all." Cliffy B should keep his mouth shut this time. He's not part of Lawbreakers, Crowded. It's a fan-funded thing. He has nothing to do with Lawbreakers. And he says, "I'm actually playing X Defiant right now, and no, I'm not. I've not tried Marvel Rivals. Didn't get into the beta. Gotcha." The reason I bring it up is because we all have a certain amount of time to play. And when you dive into these games like this, because they're all going to have battle passes and whatnot. So like Marvel Rivals and X Defiant and Apex and Fortnite and all of these competitive PvP shooters, Call of Duty, it's like having a job, right? You can't have multiple jobs. You have to focus on one or the other, right? You can make money, sure, but you're not invested in any of these games. With this many PvP games coming out all at the same time and they all feel around the same, I'm just wondering, like I just said with Ubisoft, does Sony care, right? Do they care that you're playing Destiny in the circle? You're playing Destiny, or you're playing, X Defiant, or you're playing, Concord, or you're playing... Maybe they don't care. If they just want 1 million people playing these types of games, they don't care that there's 1 million people playing that game. It just seems very odd to me. With all of these first person PvP or third person PvP or games coming out. There's a reason Bungie stopped supporting Destiny multiplayer for these standalone games to sell. Sure, but it's still there. You know what I mean, Titan? Like, it's still there. It's still a game mode in there. It's like when you ask a FIFA player if they buy the new one, or a COD player. That's true. They're going to buy it. It also doesn't have to do COD or Overwatch 2 numbers to be successful. There are plenty of people who are unhappy with the state of those games, and at least they try the game. No, I agree, and that's why I said my statement about the circle with a bunch of games inside that realm. Obviously, like, as a YouTube channel, right, I survive based off the clientele that I have, right? The consumers that watch me and the ad revenue I make from my videos. I'm a very small channel, but I make money off of it, right? Because people like my content. I don't need to have millions of people watch my content to be successful, right? How funny would it be if Lawbreakers came back out without Cliffy B and was super successful? I mean, it could. Well, I don't know. If you can call a super successful because they're not going to resell it, it's probably just be like Evolved servers. No, Lawbreakers is, I think it was like $20, wasn't it? Bungie elected a PvP strike team, and they have promised to deliver a new map packs every year for free. Titan says 30. What do you think about a $40 price point? No $10 per character like MultiVersus. I mean, I'm okay. It's $40. Okay, I'm okay as long. But is there microtransactions in that afterwards? Is it a $40 game and you just enjoy the characters and you're unlocking stuff, or is it $40 and then there's microtransactions? Do we know that yet? Lawbreakers was 30. The new version's 30. Is that what you're saying? Like, if it's paid $40 and then cosmetics, I don't know about that. I'm not interested in the game. I'm not gonna play the game, so I have no interest in the game. I don't like MultiVersus either, though. Right? MultiVersus with a PvP fighting game like that, I think all characters should be free, and you pay for the cosmetics and battle passes and stuff like that. Oh no, the original was 30. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had a couple stories. Hold on. I think it's Lawbreakers. Yeah, back in April 15th, we talked about it. Lawbreakers is making an unofficial comeback thanks to fans. Let's see here. Does it say... You can download it. You can download the launcher. So maybe that's free for Lawbreakers. Yeah, it might be free to download. All right, well, speaking of MultiVersus, right? We just brought up MultiVersus. We're talking about PvP games, right? It's almost like I know what I'm doing here. Okay. The next story I want to talk about is a PvP game, right? MultiVersus, okay, prioritizes losers by making them fight bots, right? I do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like what I do here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. We cover news stories. I read it for the first time on stream with you guys in the live chat. If you're watching this after the fact, you can come to the live shows 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern as we cover stories like this, all right? I'm playing MultiVersus, right? I like MultiVersus. I liked MultiVersus when it came out in 2022. I thought the IPs and stuff, I talked about this in the past. If you've been here this long, all right, or patronizes, not, I'm good, patronizes, okay? So I've been playing this game off and on for the last 2 years when it left, okay? I still played it offline with my son and whatnot. I enjoy it. I like the IP. I said that I'm not a big Smash guy, but I do like the WB properties, right? The IPs of it, right? So MultiVersus patronizes losers by making them fight bots, okay? So players are reporting that WB crossover places against bots after losing too many fights, okay? Which I think is pretty funny, okay? It says most games tell you that get good by giving you game over screen. MultiVersus' newly re-released Warner Brothers crossover fighter has something else in mind. What if players lose too much and got dumped into a different online queue that stopped them from playing against other humans? That's the solution MultiVersus seems to have gone with, and players aren't thrilled about it. I think this is funny. They got rid of the player versus bots from the beta from last year when they did it, or 2 years ago, okay. So they had a game mode in here where I played mostly of it because of connection issues and what like that they were having back then. They're still having now. So now the only way I'm playing this game consecutively where we're not getting dropped is by playing the actual game on the Rifts, which is the single player PvE type of modes. Okay. But when I play online, right, I lose a couple times, I win a couple of times, I get dropped a lot because of their netcode that's going on right now. Okay. But players have reported that MultiVersus subreddit instances getting paired up against bots after losing too many matches, but it's more players are trying out the game. The criticism is starting to gain steam. Reddit user Lion Snuggler 69, good old Lion Snuggler, okay, says that they spent hours in bot jail, unable to play against real people after doing team rounds with a friend who was new to MultiVersus. Okay, he says, quote, "This got out the most patronizing thing I have ever experienced in my game," they wrote. I have over 200 hours in the game. My main isn't strong in the meta, but I love playing them. Unfortunately, this now means that I get to be robbed of the experience of playing with the community. It was such a fan of this game, and I wanted to believe in it despite everything, but it's a pity queue as absolutely unacceptable. Some fans point out that it may be a mercy mechanic, so people can accomplish their in-game quests without having to beat real players, but said that didn't make it feel any less insulting to find yourself fighting bots after a rough night. Again, I go back to, why did you remove? I think about this from a developer standpoint. They had a PvE versus NPCs where you could level up the battle pass and whatnot by just doing your thing. So if you had to do, 7 up above, knock them out specials up above or below or off to the side, you could do this, okay, without doing it over and over inside the actual fighting game because you wanted to get your accomplishments done for your battle pass. Now they got rid of that. Instead, they put you in where you have to do PvP against each other. Okay, great. Now you're doing PvP against each other to do the same things that you were doing before. But instead, because you suck, they now put you in a NPC bot jail, which then makes you fight against PvE characters. Well, if that's the case, then why don't you just make a game mode like you had originally in the game where you're fighting just bots? So the people that want to fight the bots can fight the bots, and the people that want to fight actual people, if they lose, win, or whatever, they're going against actual PvPers because that's why they want to play the fucking game, okay? Put the 2 game modes in there. You'll have people like myself that don't want to sweat. Maybe I do. I'll jump into PvP games and I'll play PvP, right? But if I don't want to sweat and I just want to complete my battle pass or whatever, then let me play the single player aspect against bots, but don't force me to go against something that I don't want to do. See, options are great, right? This is why there's easy, medium, hard difficulties in certain games. This is why if you want to play multiplayer in a certain game, you play multiplayer, and then if you want to play single player, you play single player. But to force people to go, well, you just suck, and we're going to make you fight against bots. And people that don't want to fight against bots because they want to get better at the game, because they want to go against other people, they don't get that choice. They get thrown in bot jail. Okay, it's idiotic in my opinion. Okay, at the moment, the number of matches you have to lose before bots start showing up in the queue seems fairly low. Some players report facing bots after just 2 losses. Even with the above average win rate across the whole game, while MultiVersus intentions may be good, it seems that the community isn't thrilled about the implementation. Added to this list of problems, fans have had with the game since the relaunch in May, as the game has also been subjected to criticism around its online lag, balancing issues, and monetization. Okay, we reached out to Player First to comment the situation, and we'll update the story as was when we hear back. Right, they have massive problems with this game. They literally took the robot out of the game completely because he was broke. Right, they have balancing issues, and this is another reason you shouldn't have characters behind a paywall. Okay, to use this, they are adding stuff into the game so you can try the character out before you purchase it, but it's still idiotic. I should be able to level up the character, and especially if they have a bot versus player mode, where I should be able to have all the characters unlocked, play against there, and if I want to play against PvP players, I should be able to do that. And if I want to play against bots, I should be able to do that. But again, to force people to go against bots because they lost 1 or 2 matches in PvP games is just idiotic. They have to fix this. This game had more game modes, had more things inside the game, but they came out and said it on Twitter. They said that, well, we just didn't have time. We changed engines from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, and we just didn't have time before the game came out. What do you mean? You had a year off. You made the date of when this game relaunched as official 1.0 release, and yet you took 20 things out of the game and made it worse. So what was a beta, which was a better format than the game that is now, which is released, is now in beta, right? 1.0 beta, and you're missing functions in the game, balancing issues in the game, whole bunch of problems with this game. And people love it still because they deal with it because they're just used to gaming in 2024, but this is massive problems. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you okay fighting against people, and then if you lose too much, you go against bots, or do you want to choose to play against people or bots? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Retarded, chat. It's retarded. Well, get good and stop losing. It's like telling an alcoholic or drug addict to stop using that, just can't. This is the same as saying get good. Almost makes me wonder if this is the way for them to reduce server capacity without publicizing, saying that this is what they're doing. Perhaps, but they did the same thing in Fortnite back in the day, right? So when Fortnite first came out, the top of the top people were kept winning every match. So they started adding bots. I was on a different podcast at that point, and I was saying there's bots in Fortnite. Everyone's like, there's no bots in Fortnite. They don't have bots. Meanwhile, you would see a guy in my game, live on stream. You would shoot at someone, and they would go. And you're like, that is not a person. Unless they're playing with their feet. Okay? Like, you're like, that's a bot. Okay? And then bots came in the game, and it was known that bots were in the game. Everyone's like, oh, I always knew there was bots in the game, and bots are just there, right? They put bots in the game, okay, because we know why they put bots in the game. One, to make you feel better about yourself, because you get on the game, you feel like you're winning, you want to play more because you win. Two, they take the bots and they put the new cosmetics on those guys, so when they're around the world, you see them and go, oh, that's a cool skin, and they make you buy it. Okay, that's why they use bots in Fortnite. In this, I'm assuming they do the kind of same thing, right? They might put you up against the other. They do it already in the Rift, right? You'll go up against the Green Lantern, Superman, or the Green Lantern, or a Wonder Woman, which are cool little other skins. They have other skins that you're fighting against, so they can promote it, right? You'd be like, oh, I didn't know that was skin was in the game, because they want you to buy the skins. This is why they use bots in games, right? Also to make you feel better about yourself, right? Which is bullshit. I should be able to choose. Look, I know I suck. So if I want to suck, let me play against the PvE from the start. Don't just like make me delusional and be like, man, I'm getting good, right? You lost like 7 matches in a row, and then all of a sudden you win 3 in a row. You complete your task that you have to do, but then you go back into the regular world and you get your ass kicked again. Like, let me pick. Let me choose on how to get better or whatnot. Robert Jones says this is terrible. They will never get good by fighting the bots. Some people just don't care. They just want. I just want to complete my battle pass. I just want to unlock characters. Right? They made it grindy on grindy purpose because I have to purchase the character. But they're unbalanced. This is why the characters shouldn't be locked behind a paywall. Because then it becomes pay to win. And then when it's over pay to win, then they remove the character. So not only did you buy the bot, right? Like right now, people bought the robot. And the robot was OP, so they removed the robot. But I bought the robot. Right? They're going to put him back in. But you're asking me to buy a character, and then you're going to nerf that character after I buy him. They're going to add back in the stuff they took out as part of the seasons for the game. Oh, absolutely, Z. If the bots are there, they may as well make it a choice. Exactly right, Henry. And which was a choice. In the beta, it was a choice a year ago. You could play and go up the battle pass and everything and unlock everything for the characters by just playing against characters against the NPCs. Okay? Or you could play PvP. 1v1s, 2v2s, free-for-alls. Okay? Now there's no free-for-all. There's no free-for-all in this game mode yet. They'll add that later. Rank's not in the game match yet because they're going to add that later. They're going to be adding other things later. It's like, but why? You had it in the game before. Why did you not release it with it now? Robert Jones says no one wants to fight against bots unless they're specifically signed up to fight bots. Exactly right. Just make it a game mode. Having the box for people who don't know how to play the game keeps them engaged. And that is the reason. Yeah, but they're engaged, but the people, like the guy said, he was playing with a friend that didn't have the game. And now he's being punished to go up against bots because he's played over 200 matches. This is a way to make losers feel good about the buying skins. Oh, absolutely. No choice. Go to the item store. Speaking of MultiVersus, just got an update. Oh, did they just have an update? Did you post the update in our Discord? Yeah, the Mr. Smith stuff is crazy. I had a hard time just getting 4 gems and rifts. There's a lot of misconception going on with Mr. Smith. There is people that actually leveled up but they lock things behind, because it's supposed to. The misconception for the Mr. Smith thing is that they say 2 weeks early. 2 weeks early, as long as you stay with it every single day as they unlock things, right? Because there's only 3 levels that you can unlock because you have to get to level 4. And then you level up all those to level 4, and it goes up to 5 and 6, and right? You have to go up to 9, I think, for the last one. They're not even unlocked yet, right? So you have to keep up with it, and then if you keep up with it, then you'll get it 2 weeks early, which is just kind of stupid the way they're doing it. It's very scummy the way they're doing certain things. Like, get graphic tees to do certain things in the... excuse me. Get graphic tees for certain characters so you can then unlock a certain section. Okay? But they only give it to you on, like, Velma. But then it asks you to do the same thing, but with a DC character, but you need a graphic tee, so you have to go buy the graphic tee. I hate stuff like that. It's bad. It's scummy. It should all be where... if I want to buy something, I buy it because I want to buy it, not because I have to buy it. It looks bad, especially, and I don't know how much the graphic tee is, but if the graphic tee costs 500 Gleamium, okay, but I spend $5 and I only get 450 Gleamium, that means I can't afford the tee, so I have to spend $10. Excuse me. I have to get $10 just so I can have the 500, and then I'm going to have less for the next thing. It's just scum. It's dark patterns, and it's scummy transactions. Yeah, it's just bad all around. And it's sad because I think it's a fun game. I do. I think it's a fun game. I like the characters. I like the IPs that they're putting in the game. I think they can constantly just keep adding more characters. Game of Thrones, more Game of Thrones characters, new DC characters, right? Supposedly Aquaman's coming in and whatnot. Like, there's an abundance. Add Scooby, add a bunch of other characters. You can add so many characters in this game, and yet they're hurting themselves by doing stupid shit. My game didn't even update yesterday, Eclipse. Did you know that? I went to log in yesterday to do the dailies, and there was no dailies. There was nothing. I don't know if you had the same experience. I had nothing to do yesterday. I was like, all right, well, then I guess I'll log out. MultiVersus heads up, MVP will be going into maintenance mode this morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, which is 10, 11, 12. So they just went on, implemented a patch, and we'll let you know as soon as we can get back into action. Patch notes coming soon. It says here, greetings, MVPs. We're working on hard on updates, and here's a sample of what the currently planned on upcoming patch based on your feedback. Performance improvements, inclusion of endgame stats, and options to turn off team colors. We also like to let you know that the options to purchase extra lives is a bug that has been addressed and is not intended for a feature in the game. I'm sorry. What is that? I'm sorry. Let me read that again. We also like to let you know that the option to purchase extra lives is a bug that has been addressed and is not intended to feature in the game. Oh, you mean it was, though? At some point in your development process, you are going to charge for extra lives. In the regards to Iron Giant updates, and still in the works, and we help returning to battle shortly. That's exactly right, Argus. It means they considered it, though. Yeah, that's what it says. That's what it says right here. The option to purchase extra lives is a bug that has been addressed and is not intended to feature in the game. Then why is it even there? Why is it even there? Why is it even there? Do you see what I'm saying about scummy business practices? Oops. That's not supposed to be at the game. They're trying to do the Jedi mind trick right now, or they're trying to do the Men in Black. Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, that was a bug. It was a bug. It's not intended to be in the game. What do you mean? Why would that even absolutely be in the game in the first place? Just kidding. Sorry we got caught. Sorry, not sorry we got caught. But Tasman says makes you wonder what else. That can't be the worst they planned. I'm telling you, it's very scummy the way they have the business model in this game. They're charging you to do. You need a graphic tee. Not only do you need a graphic tee, they give you one graphic tee for free. One graphic tee for free with Velma. Okay? But then they're like, oh, but if you want to get this next star on this thing, you need to play as a DC character, but you need a graphic tee. All right, well, I need the graphic tee. I need to pay for the graphic tee. The graphic tee is $500. But I can only buy $450 unless I pay $10. It's crazy, man. Here at work, we get chewed out even if we explain to the customer of a known bug. They want nothing. Mistakes never confirmed. It looks a little bit scummy, though, doesn't it, Z? Sorry. Sorry, you... That's actually what this says. Right? That's actually what this says. Right? It reads that the option to purchase extra lives, it should say, hey, we also like to let you know we're sorry you caught us for the option to purchase extra lives. Right? We'll remove that right now. WB's got to get that Suicide Squad money back. All they had to do was just make a game. How is it? We played Hypercharge Unbox the other day, and all they have is the beginning of each map. The beginning of each map, a little comic book opens up and it zooms in. It's just a comic book. There's no animations. There's no nothing. It's a comic book. And they go from each cell and there's just voice acting. How hard is that? How hard is that to just tell a story in Suicide Squad? Give me 1 second. Why is my dog was barking? All right. WB Classic. Gotta get that Suicide Side. That's awesome. The game is so good on Xbox. Glad for that company. For which game? Eclipse. Which one did I miss? So scummy, man. Don't forget tonight, Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. Episode 399 tonight. We're almost at 400. We'll start at 8 p.m. like we usually do. Hopefully we don't have any issues or problems with Generation X Gaming this week. Other than that, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We have conversations about news stories. Hypercharge. Yeah. It came out on PC a while ago, and they're selling pretty well for them, right? Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. They deserve the sales. It's a good game. They made a game, and they sold that game. Redfall had the static pictures, one picture in their story beats. Yeah, I personally don't need, especially in a comic book game. We know it's a comic book, right? Like a DC, like a Marvel. So I'm okay with comic book style type of stuff. You know what I mean? Well, I appreciate that, Henry. I appreciate that. Yeah, we do this Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning to noon Eastern. We have lots of shows this week because of Summer Game Fest. So tomorrow evening at 5 p.m., we're going to go live around 4:30, have conversations as we watch Summer Game Fest. Come on by, hang out with us as we do it. Saturday, we're going to be covering the afternoon for a couple of the different shows that are happening for Summer Game Fest on Saturday. And then Sunday afternoon, we're also going to be watching the Xbox Game Showcase, Devolver, or a PC Gamer Show and whatnot. So if you guys like to hang out with us, come on back. We'll be doing shows each and every single day this week. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it very much for you guys coming out. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Helps us out here. We do uploads, live streams, gameplay, podcasts, lots of different content. I appreciate it very much for you coming out. 30, what do you think about the Mrs. Freeze leak on Suicide Squad? Kevin, I talked about it. It's that one picture is everything wrong. Is everything wrong with the gaming industry and also what they're doing with Suicide Squad? They're literally tanking Suicide Squad by what they're doing, right? It's super simple to make Suicide Squads interesting and fun, and they're doing everything they can to completely ruin it. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna go hang out with my son. It's summertime, so he's sitting out there in the living room waiting for me to get off so he can hang out with me and stuff. So I'll see you guys tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern for GXG. You guys have a great one. Peace.